record. We have some awesome rank advancements that I want to call out for starters. So we have 2 new consultants that happened in the past week. First off, Lisa Campbell. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. First step, sharing products that you love with others, getting people started on product. The best first step. So proud of you. Lisa, she also cycled 3 times. So $160 plus consultant bonuses plus PIBs in the works, we know. So huge shout out for that. That's awesome. Also, Beth Seidel. I hope I'm saying that right. Seidel. Woo woo. She is from the South Dakota team. I'm assuming she also lives in South Dakota. I could be, yeah. I got Heather nodding. So yeah. Woo. Awesome. Huge congrats, Beth. Same thing. Sharing products she loves, getting paid along the way. And then we have a Crystal manager. So I'm really excited to announce that April.
Where's April?
April on? April hit Crystal manager, and it was actually her spouse's account. It was Chris's account. So that's awesome, you guys. New Crystal manager in the house. That's at least what my report is telling me. So also from the South Dakota team. Huge congrats. $250. Again, manager is, once you can do manager, that's the business. That's you share and they share. So it's starting people in the products and then helping other people become consultant and repeat. I was talking to someone about, I know who I was talking to earlier today. I was talking to someone about that. You know what to do now. It's so exciting. It's just awesome. There's the girl. I was talking to Molly about that. Exactly. She doesn't know what I'm talking about, but the whole, you know what to do. If you could do this, then you know what to do. Repeat. So, just in case you are unaware, the Crystal Manager deadline was extended until this coming Sunday. So everyone has that date, the 29th, right in your calendar. If you create 2 consultants, you'll earn the $250. So 2 new consultants, new during this time frame, extended. I started a thread. Comment in there if you're running for it and you would like a reach out. I will reach out. We will chat. I will see where you're at with things. We'll strategize, and it will require absolutely enrollments and consultant rank advancements, but it is for sure doable. And I would just love for you all to write the story in your head that you can do it, really. So this has been a week, you guys. I want you guys to take a breath in and take a breath out. It has been a week. I can't believe it's only been a week in a lot of ways, right? 2 weeks ago, we were doing the UIA recap after a lot of us were hugging and touching and, all together, like a little petri dish together 2 weeks ago. It's bizarre to me how much has shifted in 2 weeks, but a lot of beautiful things have been brought from those 2 weeks. And nothing that I say minimizes the craze and the just bizarre situation that we're in that I just could never have written up if I tried to, or never could have made up or anything. There's a lot out there, but I really want to spend today talking through some productive, and I've actually come up with 5 slides, 5 areas I want to talk through of how to really use this time and be productive and move forward. So often, and there are stats. Susan Sly talks about a whole big group of her millionaires. Susan Sly makes 7 figures a year in Isagenix. A whole group of her millionaires, a whole group of her top earners came as a result of the 2008 financial crash. A lot of times when things crash or when there's hardship, beautiful things come out of it. It's true. And those people who are really able to use that as an opportunity, not to be opportunistic, that's a completely different thing, but as an opportunity, as a way to grow out of it. I was telling someone this week, there's kind of 2 types of people. There's the people when the real estate market crashes, they're like, oh no, and it's like the worst thing ever. And then there's the other type of person that is like, okay, great, now I can buy a rental, or I can buy a new, or I can, whatever, buy something to flip, or it's like, there's always 2 sides to every story, and markets are going to go up and down in business. I mean, David Wood drew it out. It's crazy. He could draw it out 2 weeks ago. He's drawing out this up and down and plateaus and dips being normal. And, you know, the cycle of business shows us that during a time like this, a lot of beautiful can come out of it, truly a lot of beautiful. So I want to talk about 5 areas. And if you guys have questions along the way, please jump in. I'm going to share my screen quick here. And when I share, I can only see like a handful of faces, which is not always my favorite thing, but put in the chat. Oh, there you go. There's number 4. There you go.
No peeking ahead.
No peeking. Okay. Number 1. These are the 5 areas I really think if you can lock these down. Oh, I also want to share a tidbit. So, and Zach Slobin has been offering free open coaching calls. I've hopped on a couple of them. There are, you know, Chris Harder is offering things. Emily Vavra went live. People across, you know, Tyler Dickerhoof tomorrow, the coffee chat in Max Out Biz, he's doing Zoom so that we can be face to face in the morning. So, you know, top leaders in our company and our industry are offering themselves in the matter of time and community and learning. And I really am taking, like, over this past week have taken a lot of time to really be like, okay, how can I bring more value to the team? How can I be a better, you know, coach or leader or mentor, whatever role I'm playing at the time? But, you know, I do think that in these times, it's like we can learn so much. And one thing that Zach Slobin shared this morning that I thought was cool, he said, you know, what do you guys think of when you hear the phrase lockdown? He's like, I don't like the phrase lockdown. You know, he's like, lock down. Sounds like prison. It sounds restraining. It sounds, you know, like you're being controlled. It sounds like your loss of freedom, loss of self. And so he said, what is the opposite of lockdown? Open. The opposite of lock, he says, open up. Open up. And so he's like, during this lockdown, let's think of ways we can open up to the way that we're living, the way that we're being, the way we're thinking, the way we're approaching all of these things. I just thought it was kind of a cool play on words that maybe you can take with you when you hear lockdown in your brain, or maybe put a little rubber band on your wrist and snap it and say, open up, open up. I'm going to use this for opening up. So number 1, your rituals. And your rituals are I truly believe in this time, self-care needs to be in the highest priority, because let's get real, like we're all going a little crazy sometimes. At least I am. Like over here, I'm wandering around my house like, what is next? Left, right, up, down. I have no social calendar. It's making me like, what the heck, you know? So taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your soul. And I like to put it in those 3, you know, mindset. You know, there's, what are you feeding your brain? You know, what are you putting in your ears? Who are you listening to? Who is, you know, belief systems and whose advice are you listening to? We control what we feed our mind with, right? And we also, related to that, kind of like what Zach was saying with lockdown, we control the language that we're using around this. You know, is this a crisis? Is this a hardship? Is this absolutely terrible? You know, and you're going to hear people on both sides. In my own family, I hear people on both sides. My own small nuclear family, not even my extended, in my own little family of 4 people, not speaking about him, speaking about the family I come from. Jake's family, you're going to hear all sorts of opinions, right? And so we get to decide. And the more you can go through life influencing the room, or you're not just taking on the energy of the room, but you're bringing the energy to the room, whether it's a virtual room, it's a real room, it's a phone call, it's, you know what I'm saying, like the proverbial room. You're really able to, the more that you can influence that, the more I think your mind is going to be healthy, and you're actually going to come across as a light to others too. So what are you feeding your brain? I feel like there's a lot of time right now for podcasts, for books. I've heard of people finishing books in 2 or 3 days. You know, spending time on positive people's social media, if that is filling for you. Spending time going through the Isagenix Business app or the website, the trainings. There's so many trainings that I think a lot of times we set aside. We want to bookmark them and we say, oh, I'll get to that one day. I'll get to that one day. Now is, you know, if you have extra time, and I won't pretend everyone has extra time. I know healthcare workers don't really have a lot of extra time. I know with kids home, some people have less free time. So I want to be sensitive to that as well. But if you're finding yourself with new pockets of time, now is a good time to really focus on those things. Your body, how you're moving your body, you know. We've been doing little ab workouts as a family, or bringing home the kids' gym. They literally have gym assignments. Fayette, I just did one with Kennedy today, where it's like doing high knees, and you know, it's like, how can you get your family involved in moving your body, going for family walks, you know, getting yourself out, doing little family yogas to YouTube channels, or all the yoga studios right now that are offering free classes, or I know like Orange Theory has some free workouts. So how can you move your body? And then soul is that whole like gratitude, spirituality, whatever you believe in, time in meditation or prayer or with your higher power, whatever that is to you. So I would really, I mean, to me, your rituals, and the word ritual is so much more intentional than routine. Like, we're not just passively doing these things, but how are you actively taking care of your mind, your body, and your soul? Number 2 is your mindset. So this goes even deeper into, but you know, it's your mind, but then it's also really making sure that when it comes to Isagenix, that you're feeding your brain daily, that you're utilizing so many of the free resources. I mean, just watching in the Start group, in Isagenix Business, I can't even keep up with the number of webinars that are available. I think Lindsay Hoffer was on right before this. Comment in the chat if you were on that. I personally just did not have time because I've been on so many. Last week, the Slobins and Kathy Savage did one that I think was phenomenal. If you take no other webinar Zoom away, I would go back and watch that one. I did put it in Everyday Rockstars. It should be within the last day. It was so good. And, you know, Susan Sly and Kathy Coover have been getting on together. You know, Travis Ogden has been posting, and Eric Coover, like, updates from corporate. So being there to take on mindset stuff, non-business related, for a healthy mind, and then also really getting that mindset stuff from an Isagenix standpoint, because I think that's what's going to provide clarity and belief. Clarity and belief. Clarity and belief. Like, how are you talking about, you know, Isagenix and the future of Isagenix? Honestly, you guys, my parents, I talked to them today. They're like, so is your Isagenix business impacted? And I said, honestly, so far it's felt really stable and secure. Those are the words I'm using about it, stable and secure, and that's the truth. And they're like, yeah, I didn't know if, you know, my dad even said, and my parents are like the most casual of casual users, by the way. Like, they each had a shake today, which was like rare. And they're enjoying the fact that it's a shelf stable option. But he was like, yeah, it's crazy. I was thinking about, like, you guys have food, and so it probably won't like be as affected as some other types of businesses. And I'm like, yeah, that is you know, so just building your belief in conversations by talking about the stability, the security, the fact that we do have something, you know, in your heart that you have gold at your fingertips. And so just simply knowing that and having that energy pour out of you in your business, and having that energy pour out of you in your relationships, whether they are ISA relationships or non-ISA relationships, it does not matter. I truly believe that the value that we're able to bring from our mindsets into our communities, and this will kind of go on to the next one, but the value that we can bring by having a positive mindset, you get to be the light. Like, you really do. And the world needs a lot of light right now. So I know you're nodding. Do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think that's so true. And
look at the chat.
I mean, you said, you know, notice the language you're using, you know, at the time, and with your clarity and belief. Like, we have something, people are literally lining up in front of grocery stores before they open to get in and grab things. Like, literally, this is something that gets shipped to you. You don't have to go anywhere, and it's just shelf stable. Like it took the coronavirus pandemic for her parents to realize after 6.5 years that we sell food that's shelf stable, that they can use. Like, people, and you might have that in your brain, but people around you who you're talking to might not know that. They might not be putting those things together. Like, you have an asset at this time that is not just, like Allison was saying, talking about you and being selfish. Like, this is for you. Like, you don't have to leave your house and go to the grocery store. Like, this can be for you. So just be thinking about that.
Yeah. And I mentioned to them, you know, and we have all these immune boosting products. And my dad's like, oh yeah, that's true too. Gosh, that's, you know, it's like 2 and 2 together for people. It's great when we can, like, kind of help people make those connections and connect the dots. So moving on to the third, your content. So your content, and content, you know, that can be primarily it's social media, right? Content is social media. We'll talk, I kind of think of this business as we have content, which is like a branding or like a pull strategy. And then we have connections, which is more that in person. Connections is number 4. So content and connections. So your content, usually social media, it could be email, it could be newsletters you're writing, it could be thank you cards you're writing to your customers, or whatever you're doing that is content. This is where I truly see that, and I just have been reflecting on it today. Like, you get to be the differentiator. You get to be the one in your world, on your online world or your community, your people, that is differentiating yourself in the way that you're talking about things, in the value that you're providing, in just little tidbits and tips and tricks that you're doing. It's like, what are you about? And I've been playing around with a little of it. I did a parenting technique online the other night where we literally, me and the girls touched our feet and we said something nice about each other, run around the circle. I had someone completely unrelated message me and say, oh, I used your technique. It went really well. We're going to keep using it. Actually, I've had 2 people now send me that. So, it's like, I think I can provide some tools for parenting for people. We did like the whiteboard of ideas, brainstorming. That was another one that got a lot of interaction and a lot of people commenting and a lot of things like that. I also think right now there are a ton of things to talk about. A ton of things to talk about. Everyone, and you can go with humor, you can go with providing perspective. You can go with providing beautiful photos for people to look at, or beautiful projects that you're doing. You can go with adding value and learnings and lessons and teachings. You can go with simply trying to fight boredom. Like, there is a lot of people scrolling right now who are bored, or they're glued to their phones and they're scrolling, and just look at all the memes that are out there. People are going after, humor, and they're going after talking about Disney Plus, and they're going, and so using polls in your stories, interacting. I honestly am interacting more right now in my stories than ever before. And it's not on Iceland, it's like just on life. So to be like reconnected with these people that I haven't been seeing, it can be about everything. And I think that's because people are feeling this collective connectedness to humans, right? This is a human situation. This isn't like just one country. This isn't just one demographic. This isn't just one socioeconomic status. This isn't just people from college, or people from, I'm saying my college or my old employment or my high school. It's like everyone. And so I think in your stories and your static posts, now is a time to really be like, well, who am I and what do I represent? And, it gets back to that avatar. Like, who are you and what are you about? And human character is defined in times like these. I truly believe it. We see it's not in the good times. It's not, no one remembers. I heard somewhere, no one remembers the presidents that just led during average, very casual, very normal times. People remember the presidents that led through the Great Depression, or, various world wars, or civil rights movement. It's like people remember those, any sort of leaders across the world. It's like, and it doesn't have to be politics. We can talk anything. We can talk about, other like religious leaders and different types of things. People rise up, and we get to really see people's true colors during times of adversity. And so I hope this isn't like overwhelming to you. I'm just simply trying to empower you to go for it and recognize that there's so much out there, and people's brains are like squirrels right now because there's so many different sides, that it's okay if you just screw up on it. Like, just put it out there, and then just like, it's okay if you screw up, and if you need to be like, well, that one was kind of dumb, or that didn't work so well. Tonight we did a drawing. We did like a silver lining post. We did a drawing last night. I saw Danny did it too. That's awesome. And it's just like interaction. And then I'm texting with a couple friends who won. And they're just like, it's just awesome that we have these like relationships. This is a relationship business. And I think the world events are bringing us more into relationship in very, very beautiful ways that don't have to be about pressure and isogenics, but can be about sustaining that long-term beautiful relationship way past what we're going through right now.
And if you're wondering like where to start with that, because that's a lot, like Allison just threw a lot in there and a lot at you. Like, as you're thinking about putting out your stuff on social media, think about how you're feeling, like how the collective world is feeling right now, and what would make you stop and smile. What would catch your attention? That's what your people want to see. If you're somebody who really enjoys looking at Drew's funny memes and when he dresses up in funny costumes and does stuff and that catches your attention, like that's a clue. That's what people are going to want to see from you, because that's the kind of person that you are. If you're someone who really likes looking at great pictures of nature and feeling like really inspired by something, that's what you need to put out there, because that's what your people are looking for. Yeah. So Allison, there's tons of different ways you can go with this. And sometimes it's almost too much. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Like, really just stop and think, like, if you're feeling down about this, lockdown, it's time to open up phase, like what catches your attention? What makes you want to open up? And that's what people are going to be really, and you're going to feel good about those posts when you put them out there, even if, you don't see 3 comments right away in the first 5 minutes. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And don't do it for the likes and comments. Do it for the people that are not liking and commenting, that needed it, that you just trust you provided it for them. And yeah, Drew's is a great example. He's like, I'm going to read a book every day and I'm going to provide this for the kid. I mean, that is something that is so in his wheelhouse. A lot of times our strengths are just, they're so in our wheelhouse. Maybe you're like the best at getting your kids to eat vegetables, and you could go on right now and be like, I know you guys are now serving your kids 3 meals a day, and your kid, if you're so good at getting your kids to eat a wide variety of things, you maybe don't even think that you're amazing at that. So maybe you need a friend to tell you too, like, what you're really good at, sometimes we think, oh, well, everyone knows how to do that, but it's like, where, or maybe you're good at, teaching people how to play games or coming up with new family activities to do. They're all such good ideas, you guys. They really are. We are not good at getting kids to bed on time.
Yeah, we won't be doing that.
Okay, next one, and I would say this is a big one. This is the main one I've been getting questions on from people. So if you have questions around this, know that it's like extremely normal to have questions around this. Like, what do I do in times like this with connecting, with my 3x3x3, with my reach outs, with my follow-ups? How do I do that in a time like this? And I would say you really do not want to come across as taking advantage or being like opportunistic with hardships that people are going through, right? Like, and I say hardship because it is a true hardship, right? And even though we can look at it from a lens, like, people are in very dark, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of angst about what's to come. And so the best thing you can do right now, number one, or the first bullet on here, is just about revisiting your list. A lot of times we all need a moment to breathe and to revisit our list, to, go through, write it out, dump new names on it, get our, scroll through Facebook, whatever, figure out and add to your list so you have a plan of attack. And so you can be loving on those people right now, and you can just be having conversations, and you can be, completely unrelated to Isagenix. And then when you are if you are reaching out and connecting with people, have it really come from a place of love, compassion, and service. So if you can say, is this coming from a place of love? Is this coming from a place of compassion? Am I coming to serve the person? And your heart knows, like, your heart, and I want you guys to get good at, a lot of you are good at, but if you're feeling like, well, how do I know? I want you to really look at the message and think through, is this coming from a place of love? Or, because sometimes there are people, like maybe my parents, for example, I can be a little more forceful and say, you guys, let's add some immune boost to your shake. Now we got you on the salted caramel. Let's add a little. I can be a little more forceful with my parents, right? That's our relationship. It's a place of love. They don't think I'm taking advantage of them at this time. Like, we have that. And everyone's relationship is different, right? I'm probably not going to reach out to random so-and-so from high school right now and be like, hey, I saw you lost your job. I'm coming from a place. No, like, my heart can tell me if. So, and make sure that what you're doing is offering and inviting. Offering and inviting from a place of love, compassion, and service is really a good thing to do. And when it comes to like hard sales or trying to get or having like a call to action from the person, I will tell you, and I'll, it's a little bit later on here, but I am revisiting and following up on previous conversations where the people have been very close to ordering. because I have things to offer them. It's from offering and inviting, right? Hey, I just want to let you know, we've talked a lot about this. Right now you could get a free quesadilla. You know, last week you could get a free shipping. Like, I just want to let you know. But I'm not just sending that. I am for sure starting the conversation with, hey, how are you? How are you doing at this time? How are you holding up? How are things going? Are you working from home, or are you working in your job, or at your physical location? Are you, you know, how are the kids? So having a lot more of that conversation, because that's just that's just being a good human, right? And so, you know, these questions, how are you holding up? What can I do for you? How can I support you through this time? Conversations will, when you add value and people know you, they like you, they trust you, they know your heart. When you're doing it from that heart space of love, compassion, and service, Isagenix will naturally come up, especially if they in turn ask you, how are you doing? What's going on? Be real and authentic with them. Tell them what's going on. Tell them that you're excited about the immune products. Tell them that you have a little more time right now to work on your, you know, side business, if that's what it is for you. Tell them that you're excited about your future and this time with your family at home. Whatever it is, tell them about the community. Had a team call the other night, and it just made me feel connected to my community within Isagenix. And then flip it back to them, you know? So it's really just like, we have these collective feelings across the world. I do believe in revisiting and following up previous conversations. I think where we can get stuck or get caught is if we start to assume pain points based on the coronavirus, right? So when we are in normal state, remove the coronavirus, we don't assume, we ask people, how are you? Connect with them. We're looking for pain points. We're listening so hard that it hurts so that we can offer a solution. My main thing with this is just making sure that we're not throwing out pain points that someone might be having and assuming and trying to provide a solution that doesn't make sense there. You know, and I've heard of people, I haven't personally seen them, but I've heard of, you know, network marketers saying on their wall, like, you know, don't you wish you had a side gig, work from home right now? Don't you wish you would have said, yeah? No, like, that stuff is, no, that's not going to feel good, right? So, and this team, you guys, I'm like so freaking proud of. I can't even imagine people. That's why I don't see it. I don't see it because none of you guys are amazing. But it's an art, right? Humanity is an art. It is an art. And I think if you don't know the pain point, just, you know, ask and dig and get to know and be curious about the pain point. But those are the main points I would make when it comes to connections. Do you have anything, Derek? I don't know.
Not really. I mean, another thing with connections is, you know, like Allison even mentioned it earlier, like, she's a very social person. She's an extrovert. So she recharges her battery by being out and around other people. If our social calendar isn't full, she will fill it. Something that I mean, have a Zoom call with your friends and just sit around and have a glass of wine and, you know, drink wine. Like, even though you have to, you know, you're supposed to be 6 feet away apart and you're yelling across the street at your neighbors to try to feel some kind of connection. Like, do something like this. Grab a Zoom room for the free 45 minutes and just sit and connect and talk with people. You don't bring up Isagenix at all. Just have a cocktail and talk like you would, like, if you were in person. Like, I've seen some people doing screenshots of that thing, and some people are doing it, but a lot of people don't know about Zoom. You know, they think about, oh, we can FaceTime, but, you know, think about something like that to get those connections going, and it might feel more natural.
Totally. And we have, I mean, like, that's one thing. We've been setting it up for our second grader, for Kennedy and her friends, you know, and I'm on this whole text thread with 9 moms, and I set it up every few days, and I just get the kids, you know, because well, that's one thing. We think it's normal, but we know how to do Zoom, right? We taught Jake's family how to, all of his extended family.
Well, we tried.
How to download Zoom. So you can provide value that way too, for sure. You know, my college girlfriends were hopping on my Zoom account tomorrow night because they've never done that before, you know, so it's kind of fun. I'm like, oh, you guys get to pretend you're doing work with me. You know, it's like, throw out the little comments like that too, so they can hear, but in a light way. And yes, so just to the chat, Becca, yeah, that's awesome that she reached out to you about home workout ideas. That means you're doing a good job branding with the home workout ideas, right? She's watching your content. People are watching without you realizing it. It's so true. So kudos to you on that one. And then, yeah, Barbie, we created, and I need to do a story. I haven't, I'm not supposed to have told you about it, but we had our kids color a red sign and a green sign, and then we hang it from our office door now so that the red means don't come in. I don't know if it works, but, and then
Didn't
we
work
flip it to
tonight,
the green
clearly.
when they can come in. But,
Clearly.
and then yes, Barbie, what you said, make sure your message to them doesn't press emotions or feelings. Open-ended questions is literally the gateway to that connection of like, what are they really feeling? And that bottom one is true for all of your build. Learning their pain points by
Forever.
asking open-ended questions. And often they'll lead you somewhere beautiful that you didn't even realize. When you can really get good at asking those open-ended, and then just ask it and then zip it and just sit. Even if it's like a little awkward. I definitely, do that. And people go places that are really beautiful when you're talking to them about things. So, and then the final one that I have is your vision. And really using this time to be so clear on, I know a lot of people took away from Virtual Saturday. Heather, was it you? I think it was you, who said, just having that financial wall around my family and having that financial stability. Imagine creating this account with Isagenix, this money that comes in on Mondays that you can grow to the point where it gives you stability. You're not spending it all right away, or you're building it up to save for something that you really want, or you're building an asset that continues to come. So being so clear about the financial stability and knowing that your belief in that will spill out of you naturally to the people that you're coming in contact with, and you will share that with time. There's so much time ahead of us to be sharing that, and there is growth on the other side. There is growth on the other side. When people get out, they're going to want to be in community. I know the whole Chaska group, they're going to want to come to your house, Rebecca, because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I've been holed up for so long. Super Saturday, I'm talking about May 30th, and I'm planning on it right now. Dr. Plant is planning on it. Emily Vavra, Tyler, they're planning on it. And I'm like, if we can be out at that time, people are going to want to come be in person with other adults, So growth is on the other side, and people are open to opportunity. We have to be the ones that are kind of leading in that authentic way. It's all the stuff David Wood was teaching us to do network marketing in a beautiful way, And I talked about the saw being sharpened. These are the times when we really go 2.0, 3.0, when life gets hard. Think of all the growth times in your life. Think of the times when things really, you took it to the next level. Usually right before that was a tough time or a challenge or something that needed to be a problem that needed solving, a hardship. That beautiful things come out of those times, truly, And, as far as your vision, Brave Convos, I could have put revisit vision statement first there, because I do believe revisiting your vision statement, what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it. Just today I said to someone, to me, Isagenix is the vehicle so you can live and love every day, 7 days a week. So you can live your most joyful, purpose-filled 7 days a week life. That's sort of where I'm I haven't even said that to him. I said that to someone else on the call today. And
it's good to know.
And it's like, gosh, if I can show people how to love 7 days a week, what that really, and then with that, being brave with conversation and being clear on who that is, who I am and who I'm attracting through that vision statement or that conviction statement, Does that make sense? That was a lot. I just threw a lot at you guys.
That was like 4 weeks of calls.
Pause there. That's what I have. Preach, Molly, preach. Oh my gosh, you guys. It's hard for me to share slides because I can't be looking at everyone's faces, but I'm back to the faces now. So I don't know if you have any more to add, Jake. And Jake's gonna come on and do his own call soon. This is just till earlier today, I was like, I just have a lot brewing in my head. I need to just get out. And
when you live and work with Allison, you see this light in her eyes, like she's in the zone. If anybody's ever seen the movie Over the Top, it's an arm wrestling movie, special. Allison had her hat switched and she turned into a machine, so we just let her go.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Wow. Okay.
Does anyone know what he's talking about?
Drew knows what I'm talking about. Thank you, Drew.
Drew Bischoff, of course.
We got some time right now.
The other yellow male.
Over the Top. is a great movie from like the late 80s, whatever. It's fantastic. But the only other thing I would add is that, you know, there's a lot of stuff we talked about, adding value, you know, getting out there. And I hesitate because people will go, I hope and I know people will go at this hard. And some people will see enrollments come out of it right away. Some people won't. And it's really important to know that right now you're planting the seeds. And if this is not something that you've been doing a lot and you're going to get out there and start doing that, it takes some time for you to build up that value and that equity with these people. It's kind of the law of the harvest. Like, you really have to plant and nurture and water these seeds, and you're not going to see some of the results that you'll see in 3, 4, 5, 6 months will be from the work that you're doing now and the value that you're adding now, when people are really feeling at their lowest and it's a really hard time for them, and they see you as that person rising them up, rising yourself up and bringing light and joy to them and the service. It will really pay off in the end. So just, I want to make sure that people are realizing that when you're doing it, just, you know, tell yourself there's another seed, planting that seed.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Especially we can take you very seriously with this teething necklace on. Yes, totally. So slide number 2. No, I that was the law of the harvest. It's so true, you know, and stuff is going to come for a while. So, you know, and long game, right? Being in it for the long run. Number 2 was your mindset. So number 1 is your rituals. Number 2 is your mindset. That was a question Ashley had. And if anyone wants this, I'll post the recording and then you'll have it all. You can type it. But I hope that was helpful. That's really what I have for tonight. I know it was a lot around like frame of mind and thinking, and I really want to keep things broken down into like simple steps and skills, which we have done and we will continue to do. But a lot of tonight was, I know, heavy, like, but I think that's where everyone's heart is. It's like, what's going on? We got a lot we have to sort through. So reach out if you need anything. That's what we have.
Good luck for those runners for Crystal Manager.
Yes.
We're with you.
We are. Bye, you guys.